I'm going to be ranking the best point guards right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. We have a tier list here ranking from S that goes all the way down to D tier, and we have about 30 of the best point guards in the game. Let me know in the comment section down below who are some of your guys' favorite point guards to be running right now in Season 6, and of course, let me know what you guys would change about my point guard tier list. But looking at the first point guard here is going to be Josh Giddey. I would say he's probably going to start us off in that B tier category, maybe C tier. I would say just for now, we'll throw him in B tier. I think he's a really nice point guard. He's 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan. He's going to have very good all-around stats. I mean, 94 speed, 94 acceleration, 95 driving dunk, 92 vertical. But the main thing you guys want to know about Giddey is he's a 6'8" point guard with pretty good dribble sigs and an okay jump shot. Now, his release I wish was maybe a little bit better, but he does have good sigs. He's 6'8", quick drops off one. I mean, if he had worse sigs, he probably wouldn't be as high on this list, but the fact that he's 6'8" and can move at a high level, I do think you probably got to throw Josh Giddey somewhere in that B tier category. Scottie Barnes, I do think is personally better than Giddey. I don't know if Scottie Barnes is a top 5 point guard in the game, because S tier is going to be my top 5 point guards. I would say Barnes is probably just barely going to miss out of the top 5, or maybe he will be, but just for now, going to throw him in that A tier category. We know Scottie Barnes is a very good defender, 6'8", plays really good defense, and has some amazing dribble sigs. He's basically just Josh Giddey, but with really, really good defense. Caruso, I would say, is probably C tier. He's either C or B. I think both of them are very nice defensive point guards. Caruso is mainly known for his defense. I guess you could say Giddey's more known for his offense. I mean, Caruso, I don't know. He's 6'5". He plays good defense. I'll go B tier for now. I think I'll put him on that same tier as a Josh Giddey, but I do think he'll probably get dropped down to C tier later in the video. But looking at Ben Simmons, I think you also got to throw him in A tier. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Ben Simmons in the game anymore, I just don't like the jump shot, and I feel like he's a little bit of a liability on offense nowadays, with his release being kind of meh, and also only having a 65 3 ball. But just because of his size, he's 6'11", still the tallest point guard in the game. I think you got to throw him in that A tier category. I will say I am very terrified of when we do get that dark matter Ben Simmons, because if we get a dark matter Ben Simmons in the next couple of weeks and he has a good jump shot and a new 3 ball, like, I mean, he's going to be easily the best point guard in my team. But talking about Devin Booker, I would say for me personally, he's going to be in that S tier category. I would say he's probably closer to number 4 or number 5 in my S tier category, but he's still really good on the offensive end, being 6'6" with a 6'6" or 6'6" wingspan. But like offensively, the card's going to be one of the best offensive point guards in the game. He's got a great jump shot, pretty good dribble sigs. He's got that Devin Booker leader, which can be very nice if you know how to time it and you get used to it. He's got tons of Hall of Fame shooting badges, and they actually gave Devin Booker some really good defensive stats. So it's not like he's going to be a liability on defense. So for me, Devin Booker easily going to be an S tier. And another easy S tier point guard, at least in my opinion, is going to be the Dark Matter Cade. I think he's easily a top 5 point guard in the game. I would say probably closer to number 2 or number 3. He's 6'8", has front clutches, and plays very solid defense in game. I mean, he's just like a better version of a Josh Giddey, and I do think he's going to be in that S tier spot. Draymond Green, for me, is probably B tier, I would say, but I feel like I need to kind of separate these lists. So maybe I go Draymond and Caruso, down into C tier, and then throw Evan Turner to B, because I do think these cards are a tiny bit better than these two, but I think for now, I'll just keep them all on the same level. They're all very good defensive point guards, all around the same height. Draymond's jump shot, not the biggest fan of, but does have some pretty good dribble sigs. So I think I'll throw all of these guys in B tier alongside Gary Payton. I think he's also got to go in that B tier category, and maybe they're like a little bit lower. I'm not 100% sure if any of these cards should be C tier, because then there's also a card in James Harden, because I feel like Harden is a tad bit worse than these couple point guards. So maybe they are a bit above him, because I would also say Isaiah Thomas is definitely going to be in D tier. I mean, he's just not that great of a point guard card. So I think Harden's going to go in C tier for now. But I feel like you got to throw, I'm going to put Caruso down. I'm going to put Caruso down to C tier, and I'm also going to put Draymond down to C tier. I feel like that does balance out the tier list a little bit more, because I like Josh Giddey, Evan Turner, and Gary Payton a little bit more than James Harden, Caruso, and Draymond. Not a huge difference there between C and B tier, but I do think they're just a slightly bit worse than those 3 point guards in B. Jimmer Fredette also got to go in that D tier category. I mean, like what? Isaiah Thomas is 6'1", and Jimmer's 6'2", and they play very little defense. At least Isaiah Thomas has got some pretty good defensive stats, but like, I know Jimmer's so good on the offensive end, and he's one of the best 300s in the game. It's just he's gonna get pushed under the rim every single time you play a point guard that's over 6'5" or 6'6". It's just gonna be an easy 2 points every single game. And now people are running Cade, they're running Sean Livingston, they're running even a card like a Jimmy Butler, a Ben Simmons, you know, they're running a Sengun. Like if you have a Jimmer Fredette or Isaiah Thomas on the court, it's just going to be a free 2 points for your opponent. So I think for that reason, they got to go in D tier. Talking about Jimmy Butler, easy S tier point guard. I think you can still make the argument he's the best point guard in the game. I would say he's probably number 2 or number 3 on my list, but easily going to be in that S tier category. One of the best point guard defenders in the game and does have very good dribble sigs for a Jimmy Butler card. Looking at the next point guard, going to be Luke Walton. I would say he's easily going to be an A tier. He's got a great jump shot, plays good defense. He's 6'8". I mean, we all know Luke Walton, one of the best budget point guards in my team, and I think he is still probably in that A tier category. Another A tier point guard is going to be Magic Johnson. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of his release. That obviously does hurt the card, but I feel like because of his size and just overall his play, I do think you got to throw him in A tier alongside of Ben Simmons. I think they're kind of on the same tier. I mean, you could maybe move Magic down to B tier, and I wouldn't be that, like, you know, shocked, because I feel like out of the 4 point guards so far, you know, in that A tier category, I would say he's probably the worst. Matisse Thybulle, easy B tier for me. A very, very good defensive point guard, and I think he's one of the more underrated point guards in the game as well. I mean, if we take a look at this card's stats, he's gonna have like Scotty Barnes level of defense. Like he's got what, a 94 interior defense, a 97 perimeter, 98 steal, 98 block. He's got tons of good Hall of Fame defensive badges. I mean, he's even got some pretty good dribble sigs. He can move at a very high level. He's got quick drops off one, and then I feel like his jump shot is really not that bad. I feel like a lot of people do sleep on Matisse Thybulle. If he was maybe a Galaxy Opal or a Dark Matter card, I could see him being one of the best point guards in the game if he had more Hall of Fame badges. Looking at LaMelo Ball, I think you got to throw all these names in that A tier category. I think they're very, very close. And then I do think Oscar and Pete Maravich are just going to be that 1 tier down, but I would say they're definitely in that high B tier category. I mean, maybe you could move like Evan Turner down a spot. I think that's probably pretty fair, because I don't think Evan Turner should be on the same tier as a Pete Maravich or Oscar Robertson. You know, I'll throw Pete maybe in A tier, because I do like Pete more than Oscar. I was just never a big fan of this Oscar card, and I think Pete Maravich can be considered a top 10 point guard just because of how elite he is on the offensive end. I would say he probably is the best offensive point guard in the game, so I do think he's going to be in that A tier spot. Jordan Poole, for me, got to go C tier. I just don't like his jump shot. I feel like it's super inconsistent, and then overall, he's not going to be a great defender. And Derrick Rose, I mean, he's really fun to use. He's just 6'3" and isn't going to play the greatest defense in game. I would say he's probably up there at the top of C tier because of his room running ability and the fact that he's going to be one of the fastest point guards in the game, at least how he moves. I mean, his stats are pretty much perfect. He's got great badges. He's got a great jump shot. He's got pretty good dribble sigs. He only has the Pro 2 leaner, but it's just the fact that he's 6'3". So he's just going to get mashed by the Senguns, the Ben Simmons, you know, all those tall point guards in the game. I think you could maybe throw him B tier. You know what? I'll go B tier for now, because I do like him at the point guard spot over all these cards in C tier. Rudy Fernandez, I think you got to give high B or maybe low A tier, because Rudy Fernandez, I think, is a tad bit worse than a Scotty Barnes, then a Ben Simmons, then a Luke Walton. I think he's really nice at the point guard position, but I would say he's just that tad bit worse, and I would say he's kind of on like the Matisse Thybulle, Oscar Robertson level at the point guard position. Russell Westbrook, gotta go C tier. I mean, even though he was one of my favorite point guards to use this year when he was released, and obviously I used him for a lot longer than most people, I thought he was a really fun point guard to use, and he can still rim run at a very high level. But Rose is now just a better Westbrook. He's got better defense. He's got way better of a jump shot, in my opinion, because I think Russ's release was on quick, right? Because Russ's release, I think, was only on quick timing, so now it's going to feel a little bit slow in game. So yeah, if you compare the two cards, Rose is just a better Russell Westbrook, pretty much upgraded to the Dark Matter tier. Sengun, for me, easy A tier. I think he's kind of on that Ben Simmons level. He's 6'10" and has very good defensive stats, but I do think he's got a way better jump shot than Ben, and he's also got way better dribble sigs. Sean Livingston, for me personally, is the best point guard in the game. I think it's very close between Jimmy Butler and Cade Cunningham, even Devin Booker as well, all very close for who could be the best point guard in the game. For me though, Sean Livingston has legit no flaws and is probably the most complete point guard in the game right now. He's 6'7" with a 6'11" wingspan. Stats, once again, pretty much perfect. He's got tons of good Hall of Fame badges all around and tons of golds as well. He's got a great jump shot with that JT Thor base, one of the best bases in my team right now. It's basically just another LaMelo type of base, and then he's got great dribble sigs, great dunk packages. He's got the normal leaner. I would say for me, he's probably a top 2, top 3 point guard, and maybe even number 1. So easily going to be in that S tier category. Dark Matter Tyler Hero, I think you got to go C tier. I've always said he's kind of on the same tier as a James Harden. His jump shot, I'm not really even the biggest fan of his release, and he also doesn't play the greatest defense in game. He's 6'5" with a 6'3" wingspan. He's going to be probably a probably a negative on the defensive side of things. So I think for me, Tyler Hero going to go in C tier. Dwayne Wade, I think because of his defense and overall his size at the point guard position, I think you gotta still give him B tier. Even though his jump shot's super slow and it's a very baited release, I still think you gotta give him B tier just because, like I said, because of his defense. John Wall, I would say, is probably high C tier. Like, I think he's kind of on that like James Harden, Evan Turner, you know, Russell Westbrook level. Like, I think he's slightly better than a card like Russ, mainly due to his jump shot. Jerry West, I mean, it's hard. I guess you go Jerry West and C because of the fact that he's a really good 3-hunter. But nah, I think you got to throw him on the same tier as Jimmer. He's 6'2", and then Lonzo. I would say for me personally, Lonzo's going to be in that A tier category. I do like him a lot more than most people in the game just because of his defense, and I feel like he plays a lot better than the card looks in game. But yeah, guys, now we do have to move one of these point guards from A tier into that S tier category. So let me know in the comment section down below, out of all my point guards in A tier, which one would you guys move up into S to round off that top 5? I think for me personally, it would be Scotty Barnes, just because I play really well with this card in game, and I do like him a little bit more than Sengun. I think for me personally, it's between Sengun and Scotty Barnes, maybe like a Luke Walton, maybe a Ben Simmons could also be in there. LaMelo Ball's not a bad shout, or even like Alonzo. Pretty much anybody in A tier I could see in that last 5th spot. I would say the top 4 is pretty, you know, set in stone for me personally. Sean Livingston, Jimmy, Cade, and Booker. But then for number 5, I think you could really make an argument for anybody in A tier. But for me personally, I'm going to throw Scotty Barnes in that S tier category. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and let me know what you guys think about my point guard tier list, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.